There you are. I am happy to be here with you all too, Randy Lee. How are you guys? Really nice to see you. And we are here. Another Elder Council. Every time we prepare to enter this space, there's this huge sense of reverence and gratitude, because Elder Council is truly unique and special. And that's something for me to say, given that I think a lot of the things that we do are unique and special, but I think Elder Council is kind of in a category all its own. And I don't know if you agree with that, but it's different. So I'm thrilled to have you here. I'm thrilled to see you. Thrilled to be here with you. How are you guys doing tonight? You good? You ready? We're still in a new moon window, although we're pretty much on the edge of it now. We're preparing for Samhain. So we're doing ceremony tomorrow, but you know, Samhain proper is the 31st. And then we're preparing for Mercury retrograde at the same time. So at the same time that our ancestors are like here and rocking and rolling and ready to play, we're going to be getting mixed messages. So I can't tell you yet. I know, I'm terrible, but I really have vowed to keep this a secret just because some of my team doesn't know yet. But it's good news. And as soon as we can tell you, we will. We just have to make sure that everybody who's here knows what's happening before. I don't want my team coming and saying, I heard about this during Elder Council today. Now, some of my students are in or some of my staff are in our programs because it's one of the perks of the job. Not everybody takes advantage of it, but when they work here, they get to take classes for free, which is kind of cool. I know. I'll tell you as soon as I can. I'm excited too. It's been a long time coming. So I'm going to smudge and get us ready. Today's meditation is going to be real different. And so I made something to go with it, which there's so many things I want to tell you. Let me start by backing up that truck. Yeah, well, your lips are sealed, but other people's lips are not sealed. Some people have looser lips, and that's not a bad thing. It's just people slip and go, ooh, I forgot I wasn't supposed to say anything about that. So let me smudge. You ready for different? It's different, guys. This didn't come from me. This is coming through me. And when I was in meditation this morning, I was just like, really? I go for the ride because, you know what? I'm grateful that they guide me. They really do tell me, you should do this, you need to make that, they need to have this. Like, it's very guided. And it's not always that way. So when it does happen and when it's strong like this is, and I think you'll understand in a minute, their timing is always divine. And I've learned to trust it because it's just always accurate. In a way that mine isn't, you know, like, I don't know about you, but sometimes I screw things up because I try to do it on my time. Because even me, like, being aware and knowing everything that I know, there are still times where I'm like, well, I want to do this now. It's sort of like the news I have to share with you when I tell you, like, I would have liked for it to happen a year ago, but that it wasn't time. Not my time, but their time. So it is, yeah. And it's always better when it's on their time. It's cleaner, it's easier. You're not pushing a boulder up a hill, you know. But man, I sure can screw something up by thinking that I know better than they do. And there's still moments where I'm like, oh yeah, let me go with your flow, because clearly all I'm going to do is mess it up. Right? I can't tell you what it is. But you'll know soon. We'll probably be able to tell you next week, is my guess. Okay, so Elder Council, let's back up the minivan here and explain to you what you're doing here. Is there anybody who has not been with me for Elder Council before tonight? Raise your hand in the back. I would like to call on you. I won't call on you, but I would like to know if you've never done Elder Council. I would really like to know. Scarlett has not. Cynthia has not. Is this true? Yeah? Jennifer Hassan has not. Lorian hasn't done it live. Jennifer McGuire is new. Susan Bell's new. Maureen O'Callahan is new. Starlight Insight is new. Michelle Shiva, is it Shiv or Shiva, is new. Tina, Midwest Christine, Holly Wise, Lacey Joy Love, Kara Lignos, is it Lignos? Stephanie doesn't think she has. Beautiful. How beautiful. And is it Cecilia? Is it your first time live? I'm not sure. So beautiful. Bobby Joe, Kayla, right? Carrie Gage, first time live. Ghost Nikki, second time. Cynthia says yes. Catherine Parks hasn't done it before. Look at that. Isn't that really lovely? Patty Murphy, Christy Jett. Did I miss anybody? Ms. KXLU is new. Nicole B. So lovely. Look at that. So we just want to... I'm new here. We do need t-shirts. Thank you for that. I'm so glad I pronounced it correctly. This is the... Help me out with this, you guys. I'm getting old. Is this the third time this year? I think it's the third. I don't think it's the fourth. I mean, we're pretty consistent because it's quarterly, right? Jenny B says first time live. Karen McAfee isn't sure. Deanna Franco first. Tina Goodman first. Look at that. Dorinda second. Bonnie's third. Oh, you're saying it's your third time or our third time? Okay, well. I love it. Okay, so it is the third time. Fantastic. And Becky is new here too. Look at that. Larissa's first time. I'm just so happy that you guys are here and that you're having this experience. So welcome to Elder Council. It's different. I mean, it's not our traditional meditation, and it is the most heavily guided experience of the year, is what I would say, or the four most heavily guided experiences of the year. It will absolutely continue next year. I think as long as I teach, there's going to be an Elder Council. And, for next year, it will be Soul Shift focused. So anyone in Soul Shift will be able to participate. So if you like it, you're going to be able to continue with that work, which is really cool. Lauren just boomed her Shiva. I love that. Let me explain what Elder Council is, just to begin. So Elder Council is a space outside of space that we enter together, and each time it's a little bit different. This is going to be the most rogue I will have gone, but again, it's at their direction, so I wouldn't normally propose something like we're going to do tonight, because it wouldn't have come. Like, this isn't something I would have invented on my own. So I'm just listening, because I don't think we've done it this close to Samhain before, have we? I mean, we're within 48 hours of Samhain. I mean, really getting closer to 24 hours within the window. So I don't know that we've had this many spirit guides around for the journey before. I think this may be the closest to Samhain that we've ever done it, right? So that's exciting too, right? Because we've all that ancestral contact and all of those connections to our lineage that are so activated right now, so we can work with that energy in a good way. Okay, so I don't think we've done it that close either. So it is, when I first started sabbatical, so we're talking 8.5 years ago now, I was told that I was supposed to do this really special quarterly meditation, and that the purpose of it was to connect you with your spirit guides. And at the time, I didn't realize that would end up being the number one question or concern of people in sabbatical is, how come I don't feel my spirit guides? How come I don't hear my spirit guides? How come I need to learn how to hear them. I need to learn how to sense them. I need to learn how to connect with them in a deeper way. I didn't realize how big of an issue that would be for our community, and it has been. And so Elder Council has remained. And so the guidance I got about it the first time in meditation, I was intimidated. I literally at the time I didn't think I was ready to teach sabbatical. And then I certainly didn't think I was ready to hold a container for the super deep meditation that was all about connecting you with your spirit guides. I mean, some people, when they start teaching and doing metaphysical work, they're cocky and they feel like, oh, I'm ready and I know I've been doing this a long time. Like, I think I had the opposite reaction. I was like, I don't know if I'm ready. This is going to be a lot. I kept kind of asking for permission not to do it. And they were like, nope, you're doing it. So here's what I was told about Elder Council. First of all, you need to have a question going in, not an intention, but a question. And it can't be a yes or no question, and it can't be a frivolous question. It has to be the guidance that they gave is the same guidance they gave me today, which is it has to be a question upon which an outcome depends. A decision depends. You know, should I change career? Should I be in this relationship? Should I don't know what it is for you, you know. And so, yeah, it's a how, not a yes or no. Like, you know, and it's not like, should I, you know, wear the red dress for my Samhain party tomorrow? Like, that's not the question, right? The question is, it can be, should I stay or should I go? But recognize this. They're not going to give you yes or no. So, because they don't communicate like that, right? The spirit world is highly symbolic and highly metaphoric, right? So spirit guides don't when you're in Elder Council, at least in my experience, they don't go, yes, you should, and then just move on. Like, they're too philosophical for that. They like to communicate in symbols. They like to communicate in metaphors. They like to answer questions with questions, which is super frustrating for me. Like, I asked you a question, now you're asking me a question. Right? And like Candace Mills, that's a great question. Her question is, am I open to exploring clean relationships and dating again? You know, or how do I help my son, Christy? Like, these are the big questions. You know what I mean? And something that you're genuinely struggling with is what you should bring. I mean, if this is something you can figure out on your own or by sitting around with your best friend or your mom at the kitchen table and dialoguing about it, then that's probably not the right question for you, right? Yeah. Yeah, and you might start, it's interesting, sometimes you start getting answers and downloads and information before we even go into the meditation, right? Like Cecilia's seeing signs and stuff. Look at that, Colin asked, how can I get more comfortable letting the kids grow up? Goes right to my heart, right? Ooh. Of course you can ask a question about your children. You know, it's like, wait till you hear what we're doing tonight. Holy shit. Yeah. Okay, so I'm meditating this morning. You ready for this? I'm ready. I'm meditating this morning, and they said, the first thing they said is, you're going to make this perfume today. And I was like, okay. And they were like, it's for the belly button. And I was like, okay, it's a belly button blend. And then they explained why. And it's because, so the fact that you guys are asking all of these like parenting questions does not surprise me. That's what's coming up. So they said that tonight we are healing the matrilineal, the mother line. And so they had me make this, which I made one bottle of this, so there isn't a lot of it. So if you don't want it, you don't need to have it. I'm going to get my tissues ready, because I can tell I'm going to cry tonight at some point. Okay. So they had me make this, and they had me call it Womb. And it's a blend of flowers with spikenard and cannabis. And what you do with Womb is, and they told me to use my pinky of my right hand. It goes right in, right in your belly button. And you're supposed to make 3 circular rotations right there. And like really get in there and make contact. If you want to take it all over to your third eye and to your wrist and to your ankles, you can. Cue siren, of course. Okay. Yeah, no, it's really good. There's Carnation Absolute, Tuberose Absolute, Rose Absolute, Spikenard, Cannabis. What else is in there? I just made it. Lavender Absolute, Motia Attar, which is a new one from India, Mogra Attar, which is jasmine. I listed the ingredients on the listing, so you'll see the full list. So I'm like pulling it up from my memory, right? So what we're going to do now, it's clockwise because you're opening. You're opening. So tonight we're going to go into your belly button for Elder Council. We are going to travel through your belly button into your mother's womb. And then additionally, if you want to, and if your guides want to, then you can go back into your mother's womb and through your mother's belly button into your grandmother's womb. So you can take this work tonight back 2 generations. If you're willing to do it, if you're willing to work this medicine and you don't have to have the oil right now, this is the meditation. But then if you do this again, you can work with womb because it'll deepen the experience of it. There's tobacco absolute in there too. Spikenard is what Mary Magdalene used to anoint Jesus's feet in the Old Testament. So that's why that oil is in there. There's a mothering energy around this. It's amazing, isn't it? And carnations are for grief, transformation, loss. Rose is for compassion. Lavender is for peace and removing toxins. It's very healing. It's antibacterial. It's antimicrobial. And then jasmine is about sovereignty and power, which is another layer of energy, that goes through the mother line. Well, Amy, here's the thing. Your mother line, even if you're adopted, is still your lineage. And so you still have to work that through. You still have to work that medicine at some point. And then you can work through the other side of it too, the adopted lineage, but your core matrilineal. So here's the thing. Whether or not you're close, because I see you, Ghost Nikki says, I'm not close to my mom's grandma. Whether or not you're close, what's happening energetically with her is also and still happening through you. And in fact, it may be even more important to do this work if you're not close. And so that's what we're doing tonight. I hope it speaks to you. And one of the things you can do tonight is release. I mean, we are still in a new moon window, although we're heading toward a waxing moon, right? But you're still in that space. You can release, you can forgive, you can send medicine to them, especially if they're not alive anymore, right? I mean, the veil is very thin, so it's permeable. We can move through it and into it and past it and alongside it to work those energies, especially for those of us who've lost mothers and grandmothers, right? If you are working on your children, remember, right, that you also have that tether to them. And so you can work this medicine metaphorically into their navels, right, into their line too, through this medicine tonight. So it can be 2 generations back and then as many generations forward as you want, right? Yeah, you can totally do new moon ceremony tonight. I wouldn't do it much after tonight, right? But I think tonight would actually be a perfect time to do it after this. Were you thinking about your grandmother today, Lynette? Isn't that interesting? And Sharon Lynn said she's heard her grandmother's voice in her head lately. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, you can. I mean, this is the whole mother line. So anything along mother, grandmother, including sisters, nieces, nephews, like the whole matrilineage tonight. This isn't so much a paternal elder council, although you know what, at some point, because they usually balance the scales, at some point they might have us turn the dial and do more of that work. I wouldn't be surprised. But for right now, it's focused on the mother line. So it's important, did you want to do lineage work tonight? It's important for you to think about then what your question is. And sit with that for a minute. Because this will reframe your questions, right? Now, well, me too, Rachel, right? She's like, this is big for me. My relationship with my mother is challenging, right? Interesting, isn't it? So choose your stones, amulets. I'm still working with my key, my Hecate key, because it's just one of my favorite things, and it just felt like the right medicine to bring in. I've got, for part of the meditation, I grabbed my copper Merkabas, because I have a feeling this is going to be kind of a deeper meditation. I want to keep the energy moving, because copper conducts energy, and the Merkaba spins energy, so it keeps it moving in your energy field. So these are good tools to have. Keeps you from getting stuck or overwhelmed in journey space. If you have your incense, you can work with that. If you have your Elder Council perfume, I have old and new. Same with my incense, by the way. This is, I think, did I tell you about Elder Council incense, how I do it? How I carry over a little bit from the last batch into the new batch. So this one has been well loved. I'm getting to the bottom of this one now. This is how today's Elder Council incense still has the original incense in it. Isn't that cool? It's sort of like, I gave you the analogy of the Italian pizza dough. You know how there's this idea in Italy of the mother dough, and so they carry forward a little bit of the previous dough into the next dough, and so it keeps this lineage going. Yeah, so if you've got Elder Council incense, you still have a little bit of the original blend, even though sometimes we make it a little bit rougher, sometimes we make it all powdered, but it always has the same ingredients in it, so you can work with that too. I've got my Elder Council candle. I think that's it. And then, like I said, womb, which you don't have yet, but you could have later. Incense lineage is an interesting concept, isn't it? Yeah, so you know what? If you want to grab a picture to have with you on your altar, all of my pictures are on my ofrenda right now on my Day of the Dead altar, so they're already in the room. But if you want to grab some pictures and have them with you, I think that's a beautiful idea. And any other questions that come to mind, happy to answer those for you now. I love that. So you're already feeling like Emma went and grabbed a green snakeskin jasper. Like, follow your intuition. Candace grabbed a Merkaba and the blue tiger's eye. I think it's fine, Christine, especially if, look, you're going to get answers, broadly speaking, in Elder Council, no matter how we do it. The focus tonight is on the mother lineage, but that's neither here nor there. Because all of the energy of your mother line is accessible to give you guidance across all aspects of your life. So you don't have to ask about parenting or about, feminine healing or anything like that. But those voices of the women in your mother's line are going to be louder tonight, is what I suspect. Yeah, so grab your crystals, whatever's calling to you. I like it. Merkabas are just good for Elder Council. And it doesn't really matter what kind of Merkaba you have, and it doesn't matter what size Merkaba you have, but I definitely felt called to have mine, so if you have yours, that's great. Okay. You guys feel like you have settled on a question? Or at least a focus area. Do you feel like you have an idea of where you want to lean in tonight? Oh, for sure, Deanna. You don't have to go grab it now. You'll be fine. Love that. Celestial quartz is perfect for tonight. Well, that's exactly why Lisa Haywood. Lisa said, what if you're feeling angry about the mother line because of what they've done to you? Maybe it's time to heal it. I mean, you can. It's really true. You can. And honestly, it's a huge gift that you give to all successive generations, all generations forward, because if you heal that stuff, it doesn't get passed down. It's like a rock rolling down a hillside, right? It just accumulates energy until we stop it and we heal it and we address what it is, right? Big, heavy work at Samhain time, we do, but, if we're not going to do the work now, when are we going to do it, right? And I'm going to use my Lemurian wand tonight to open a second circle. I don't use this very often, but it's very feminine, and this is the one that has the dolphin vertebrae. by the artist in Baja, Mexico. So I'm going to open a second protective circle around us. Just because it's Elder Council and I like to have a nice, tidy space. Tell me, Ms. Lucky, what's not posting? I want to be sure if you have a question I'm answering for you. Yeah, Colin's like, I'm already in shock and we haven't started yet. So, one thing just to share with you that I've noticed, because I'm not thrilled with the women in my family, okay? There's a lot to unpack there, and I would say most of them did not take responsibility for their energy. And they were pretty magical as a bunch. So I have a hard time cutting them a lot of slack, because I think they knew better and just sort of chose the easier ways, right? Of like not dealing with things, not healing things, not, you know. So I'm not thrilled with them. What I've learned is, though, that healing them doesn't let them off the hook, right? It doesn't say, oh, slate's washed clean. You know, love them all. They were just okay. It's all okay. It's not that. What it is releasing you from the bondage that maybe they created or maintained or facilitated. I wanted to be freed from that. And in a lot of ways, I've done a good job. You know what I mean? Am I still stuck in some ways that I think they were stuck? I am. And I can see it. You know what I mean? There's still a little bit of fear. There's still a little bit of, it's like residue, if that makes sense. Like, how clean can you get it in one generation? Just being candid with you. Like, I feel like I've done everything I can, but I don't have an expectation. Like, I'm not a flippin' magic eraser. Okay? So, and I've told my ancestors this in Journey Space. Like, I'm not your magic eraser. I'm not your can of Lysol. I'm not here to clean up your shit mess and just make it okay for everybody. Like, that's not why I'm here. Don't expect it. Don't wait for it. That's not my intention. Like, and I'm also not giving everybody a pass, and I'm not, you know, seriously, it is kind of quotable, isn't it? I'm not their magic eraser. You know, because I still have to work my progress or my process, right? I still have to work that process. I'm still human. I still have feelings. I still have sadness, but it's a little cleaner now. It's a little cleaner. Like, I can think about some of the things that happened in my family and not cry. And I'll tell you something, that's a fucking lot of progress for me not to just immediately cry when I think about some things. Like, that to me, I'm going to give myself a gold star and an A for that. For just not crying right away when I think about some of the stuff, right? So that's progress. Yeah, but I think sometimes our family's like, well, you know what? Athena's doing the work, so we're good. And it's like, nah, that's really not how that works. But I don't cry. Isn't that great? We don't cry. I mean, not that we shouldn't cry, but like, I used to not be able to stop crying once I started. And now it's like, but that's medicine work, you know, and that's journey work, and that's spiritual work over the course of decades. It's true, some of them are old stories, and so I think I can see them for what they are. But because I'm still involved, like, those stories are still my life, right? Like, things that happen, even though I can see them for what they are as stories, it doesn't mean that they don't still trigger me on some level, and maybe always will to a certain extent, right? And creating space for myself to be human is really important. I love that. Suzanne's like, I gave myself 3 gold stars for going deep and not crying. Okay, so are you ready for this? It sure can, Kayla Gomez. So she's asking, can this heal feminine lineages from past lifetimes? 1000%. You think your mom didn't come in with you last time? I bet you she did. Maybe as your sister, maybe as your daughter, maybe as your, you know, One of my friends, her mom, they showed me in ayahuasca, her mom was, above her in a convent. They were like sisters, but sister nuns. And there was a lot of competition and a lot of jealousy and a lot of like things going on, right? So that you're a little tribe, you've been in and out of this before. Like Zoe used to say to me when she was little, remember when I was the mom? I tell you this story all the time, where she was always saying, do you remember when I was the mom? And I would say back to her, because she was like 2 and 3 years old, I would say, I do, but now I'm the mom and you're going to listen. Like, we're not playing those power games just because she was aware that we had, flip-flopped. And that's what mothers and daughters tend to do. I'm the mother this time, you're the mother next time, right? Like that kind of dynamic happens. Okay, so we're going to begin by taking a deep breath. I want you to completely focus. Close your eyes if you can, too. She doesn't remember that part exactly, but like Zoe and I have these really strange deja vu moments all the time. All the time. Constantly deja vu. Especially at night when I'm singing to her or reading to her or like brushing her hair. I have these deja vu moments where I was either her sister or something. I was a little bit older than her and still responsible for her, but not her mother. It's like we have this really crazy deja vu relationship. Colin said, I've been thinking I may be my maternal grandmother. She died 2 years before I was born. She was a Sag like me. Honestly, I've got chills all over. I wouldn't doubt it. Is she the one that wrote that poem, Colin? I don't know if you know which poem I'm talking about. Stopped me in my tracks. It was a really busy day when you posted that. And so I don't even know if I liked it or commented on it, but it absolutely stopped me in my tracks. It was one of the most profound pieces of writing from that generation that I've ever read. I mean, obviously, it was her husband that wrote it. Holy shit. That stopped me in my tracks. Maybe if you're ever willing, you could post it in Soul Shift so that we can read it. So Lauren has that relationship with her son. I have a really close relationship with my son, but it's not karmic the way my relationship with Zoe is. It's just different. Not in that way, not where like I'll be sitting rocking her and just all of a sudden I'm in like 18th century Russia. You know what I mean? Like it's just crazy. Okay, so we're in for a wild ride tonight. It should be exciting. Make sure you have everything that you need. Roll your shoulders back, close your eyes if you want to. And I want you to bring all your attention to that question. My question, if I can share with you, maybe it helps sometimes for me to share mine too. Oh, no doubt, Jessica, your entanglement with Skylar is like, Karen, sure. I'd be happy to think about some resources to share with you, and people in the group probably have some good resources to share with you too. So if you're new, you might start having some past life memories, awaken tonight, and then maybe you'll want to track that and start to work with someone or, get additional resources. So what I'm struggling with personally in my life right now is that I don't come from happy people. And it's I'm not saying that in a judgmental way. I come from people who really suffered almost their whole lives. And it's down both sides of my family. Like my paternal grandparents suffered horribly. My dad, his early part of his life was ridiculously horrible. And then like really just struggled most of his life and was very stressed at all times about everything, right? And then my mom is very unhappy. She's always been unhappy. It was one of those things like, if I lose weight, I'll be happy. If I have more money, I'll be happy. If you guys behave better, I'll be happy, right? Like all that. God, isn't it amazing that we have... I don't wish this for you, by the way. Like, I wish for you to come from super happy people, right? But I come from sad people. And so it's really funny, like, not funny, but interesting. Whenever I work with healers, they always say, it's like one of the first things they say when they get into my energy field. They always say, you seem like such a peaceful person, but then when I get into your energy field, like I just want to sit and cry. Like it's so sad. But I think, my grandmother lost 3 children in utero to spina bifida, like over and over again, stillborn. And just terribly hard life. And ended up dying by herself, and it's like just always a hard life. Now, my grandmother found some happiness in the later part of her life. She really did. Like, I think she found peace, but it wasn't like joy. Do you know? Like, I think no matter how much peace she may have found, there was always this like residual, almost like a fear, like, am I going to lose this? Or like when they found joy, they tried to hang on to it. And joy doesn't like to be held or captured. So it eludes that, right? It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, so Lynette said everybody laughed, but then there were other qualities that she didn't, feel connected to. Look at that. And Tracy with her mother, right? Yeah, so I think a lot of us are the first generation where, like, I don't have a lot of reasons, in my opinion, to be sad. Like, I really love my life. I'm blessed in so many ways. Like, I mean, my health is kind of, where it is, but I don't dwell on it, you know what I mean? And so I feel very blessed and very lucky, and I honestly wouldn't really trade my life for anybody else's, because I've seen that even people who look like they have a better life, like, usually don't, you know what I mean? It's like walk a mile in their shoes kind of thing. So I am genuinely a happy person, but I come from sorrow and grief and loss and just, my grandma stopped speaking when she was my age, and she never spoke again. And she didn't die until her early 90s, my dad's mom. Like, she said she had felt too much and was done communicating. And then she just wore black and never spoke again to anybody until she died. And in Greek, they call that melancholia, right? That's melancholia or melancholy. They're just sad, right? Okay, so look at that. I mean, we have a lot in common, for better or worse. So what I want to do tonight is my intention, my question is, how do I locate joy when I come from a lineage of sorrow and not feel guilty about that? And then my other question is it possible for me to send like the sweetest medicine of joy down that line? For all the shit that comes forward in the pipes, like, can we send good medicine back down those pipes to begin the healing process, right? Yeah, I mean, because look, I mean, we come from a place and a half, right? So that's what I'm trying to figure out is it okay for me to be happy? How do I stay in a place of joy without living in that grief that consumed them? Interesting, isn't it? Aho to that. So I want you to begin bringing your attention to your question or your questions. I'm using my Flower of Life drum tonight because this is what the human egg looks like. This is the Flower of Life, which is also called the thumbprint or the fingerprint of creation. So this symbol, if you're not familiar with it, it's the first thing you see on ayahuasca. It's the first thing she shows you because it's her like signature. And so it's these connecting lines. And so this is in your DNA, this is in plants and flowers, the Flower of Life is in your crystals, it's everywhere. Everything that is living or grows or has structure and form has this as its template. And this exact shape has been found in Hindu temples, dating back thousands of years. It's been found in ancient Greece, it's been found all over. And part of the reason we've seen it everywhere is that we know that all ancient civilizations had psychedelics. Whether you look at fermented hops back in ancient Greece and the oracle at Delphi and the substances that they were using, the Eleusinian mysteries and the mystery rites and traditions in ancient Greece and ancient Egypt, they were all using psychedelics. Socrates, the Greek philosopher, used psychedelics. Plato used psychedelics. They all used different things. They would ferment plants until they would become a substance that had psychedelic properties. And so they saw this, and they've been seeing it for a long time. And so this is a very, very, very sacred symbol. And I believe it's the symbol that you see when you come into your body, and I believe it's also the symbol that you see when you're leaving your body. It's like the doorway, if you will. Isn't that beautiful? This was made for me. I reached out to this drum maker, and I said, can you channel a drum for me? And so he made this for me, and he used his thumb in the ink to make the background pattern. And I absolutely love that. So you can actually see there's little bits and pieces in places where you can see his fingerprint. Isn't that cool? And then so he did all of that, and then he went back in and he hand drew the flower of life. Pretty cool, right? And then he made the 6-pointed star on the back, which represents the principle, the Hermetic principle of as above, so below. Isn't that cool? So this is an important drum for my practice, and it's good for tonight's medicine too. No, you don't have to do psychedelics, Sarah, to grow or learn more. It helps, but some people never do. And here's what's really interesting. In my experience, if you really start to do deeper states of meditation, like what we're doing tonight, eventually you'll start to see these things without psychedelics. Like, you don't have to do it to see these things. But you do have to entrain your mind to get quiet enough, because you won't see this symbol if your conscious mind is active. So psychedelics do a good job of shutting that off. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of a long answer to your question, but it was a great question. Okay, so let's begin. Stay where you are. Let the sound of the drum bring you more deeply into this present moment. Soften your shoulders. And bring your attention to your breath. Guardians of the East, we greet you first tonight on this sacred Elder Council evening. We greet you at the Eastern Gateway. You create the grand opening in the East. All that begins through us, for us, and with us begins here. And so, Guardians of the East, we ask that you open our minds tonight, open our hearts, help us to open this sacred portal gateway tonight to connect with the energies that brought us here, our lives. Remembering that you came in fully equipped to be where you are now. Some part of you knew. Going back to that beginning tonight. Help us to burn through all the anger and the fear. Let's let go of fear tonight. There's no better time. When nothing can scare you, nothing can control you. And Guardians of the South, Jaguar medicine tonight. The big cat's coming to escort you. And snake medicine tonight. We were working with it last night too, helping you shapeshift. It's good to become lighter and more agile in the South. Burning through stored energy, stuck energy, layers of fat and time and dead weight. Become agile. Become easy. Become fluid. One who can fit through tight spaces with ease. Help us to shed that extra weight in the South here tonight. Become buoyant. We welcome the Guardians of the South into our ceremony space. And Guardians of the West, we greet you here tonight as we enter the womb space. This is the direction of the mothers, the grandmothers, the great-grandmothers, those who carried us, those who didn't, the other mothers who showed up to do a better job, maybe, the doulas in our lives, strong women who support us, feminine teachers, the men in our lives who hold their divine feminine with grace and beauty and softness and tenderness. We greet the female line in the West. We ask for healing and purification, clearing tonight, clearing out the muck and the yuck and what is stuck, pushing through those pipes with clean water tonight, hydrating every cell in our body with love, unconditional love and compassion, letting ourselves float tonight in the amniotic fluid of creation. We welcome the Guardians of the West. Guardians of the North, strong, patient counterpoint to the West. Slow moving, slow changing, steady, wise, protective. The Guardians. We welcome you, Guardians of the North. Help us to stay tonight. Stay steady, stay focused, stay patient, stay hopeful and optimistic. The creatures of the North, owl, sometimes in the North, seeing equally well the light and the darkness. We have the slow-moving creatures in the North, like elk. Moose is there, deer is there. Perceptive, slow to react. We welcome you. guardians of the upper world, the sweet angels, guardians of the star portals, star gateways, star systems, seed systems from where we all come, and the guardians of the Akashic records, the cosmic library, storehouse of wisdom, what was, what is, what will be. We ask, we ask for your wisdom tonight. We ask that you access this wisdom on our behalf. We welcome you into the ceremony space. And guardians of the middle world, my brothers, my sisters, this present lifetime of the soul, the web of souls that incarnated together in this place and time to do this work that we've chosen and fulfill the terms of this contract that we said yes to. Help us to do that work in a good way, to be in service, to give and receive love freely. We welcome you into the ceremony space. And guardians of the lower world will be visiting you tomorrow night. Guardians of the Crystal Kingdom, Planetary Wisdom, Bone Kingdom, wisdom of all time across our planet, the great channel and matrix of energy lines, destiny lines that connect us across this planet. Help us to tap into those energies tonight, to channel them, to receive new code, to transmit our codes tonight. Teach us how to be good stewards of this planet at this time. Put us in the right place at the right time, with the right people, the right energies, the right intentions. We welcome you into the ceremony space. The guardians of the east, guardians of the south, guardians of the west, guardians of the north, guardians of the upper world, guardians of the middle world, and the guardians of the lower world. They are here, we are here. So it is. Ha-ho. Okay, and wherever you are, stay there. If you're laying down and your eyes are closed, you don't have to do a thing. If you want to light your candle, I'm lighting mine right now. If you've already dropped in, don't come out. Seriously. Stay there. Yeah, so seriously, if you dropped in, just stay where you are. I'm going to anoint. So I already did my B button. I'm taking Elder Council perfume, a little bit at my third eye for what I know, at my wrist for what I do, and then at my ankles for where I go. Blessing my thoughts, my deeds, and my movements. I think that's it. Okay. So, if you did open your eyes, I want you to close them again. If you left them closed, good for you. Leave them closed. I want you to take a moment and allow every single cell in your body to relax. Relax the top of your head. Relax your eyes and your eye sockets. Just soften all the muscles around your eyes. Relax your cheeks and your cheekbones. Relax your jaws. Relax your lips. Relax your shoulders. just go really soft, as if I was putting you on a table and I was going to rub you down. Just let every muscle just go soft. Relax the tops of your arms and your elbows. Relax your cute little fingers and your toes. Relax your stomach. Relax your hips into the floor. If you're in a chair, relax your hips into the chair. Just kind of melt into wherever you are right now. Soften the backs of your legs. Feel your heels and the bottoms of your feet. And just soften, 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 soften. Nothing should be tense. Everything should just be malleable. And I want you to bring your attention, you can touch it if you want, but I just want you to bring your attention now to your navel, to your belly button, to the center of your being. And I want you to pause there, and I want you to reflect on what your navel is, what it represents. This is proof of your humanity. It's the indelible link to your mother, your birth mother. And no matter what has happened in that relationship, whether she's alive or not, whether you know her or not, whether you like her or not, this is your connection to her. And through this exact space, when she was pregnant with you, you experienced 9 months of her reality, or 7 months, or 9.25 months, or however long you were in there. You experienced an average of 9 months of her reality. Every thought, every hormone, every emotion, every meal, every nutrient that she experienced, you experienced through her right here. And so tonight what I want to do is I want to take you back before that. That's 9 months of conditioning, which got you ready to be human and to be her child. I mean, it got you ready to like, okay, so this is what my world's going to smell like. This is what my world's going to taste like. This is what my world's going to feel like. If your mom was super happy pregnant lady, yeah. If she was sad when she was pregnant with you, like you had the front row seat for all of that. And a lot of our parents were not intentional. I was pretty intentional when I was pregnant to try and be in a high vibrational space, but that wasn't the norm, right? It still isn't the norm, really, to think consciously about the fact that your child is receiving every single thing through you and not just the food. And so those 9 months prepared you to come here and do this with her, to acclimate to her, to align to her frequency. So you came in pre-programmed. But before those 9 months, I want to take us back there tonight. And so spirit guides, archangels, ascended masters, higher selves indeed of the women in our lines, calling upon the higher selves of mothers, grandmothers, aunts, sisters, twins if you have them. Twins have a whole different layer of programming that happened to them and should dialogue about what they experienced in utero together during those conditioning months. But preparing you to be human, right? And teaching you how to be human. And so tonight, spirit guides, we ask that you come forward to guide us back on that journey, to take us back to our time in the womb before the conditioning, before we gestated for those 9 months, when we first came into that womb space, when we first said yes to this contract and landed inside of her. Take us back to those moments tonight. And as you go back in this experience, You're going to experience yourself not as a baby or as a fetus, but you're going to experience yourself as a grown spirit who had to come back and compartmentalize your soul in this new vehicle you've chosen. But I want to take you back to the moment that your soul entered and began the process of acclimating. And so spirit guides, take us back to those early days and weeks in utero tonight. Take us back through this channel that we carry. All of us have it, no matter who you are and how special you think you are and how special other people think they are. They all have a belly button because we all had a mother. It is the tie that binds, right? It's the tie that binds. And so let's go back to your soul coming into this container and finding its way, burrowing its way inside of her, the one who said yes to carrying you. And no matter what we think of that person was in service. The fact that you're here watching me right now says that she did something relatively right, because you got here safely. Could it have been better? Sure. But something happened that was good along the way, and so you got here in a good way. So I want you to let yourself sort of fall down that umbilical cord now and go back to that original moment of conception when your soul got called into that vehicle. And spirit guides, ask us, help us tonight, guide us to discover tonight what we came here to learn from this woman. You chose this woman, you helped us choose this woman from the many, yeah? What did we come here to learn through her? And ask to be shown, or to feel, or to see, depending on how you receive information from spirit. Ask to be shown what some of the highlights of this contract are for you, and why she was the one who was chosen to contain you. What was it that she understood? What did she bring to that table for you? And spirit guides, tell us the story tonight. Walk us through what was happening there. What were her hopes and dreams? What were her challenges and her struggles? What was she experiencing in those first days and first weeks as she carried us? And if you feel guided, like I'm feeling guided, just to move some energy around my heart, so you can do that at the same time. I'm feeling so powerfully like her desire to do a good job, because she didn't have that and was going to keep me safe because no one kept her safe. And see if you can sense the one who's telling you the story. Who is this spirit guide coming forward to lead us through this journey tonight? Who's the narrator here? Ask that spirit to identify itself. I'm seeing grandfathers among you. I'm seeing a couple of grandmothers, but quite a few grandfathers. They're the mother's fathers as witnesses. Some of you, I'm seeing your mother herself, if she's crossed. And notice if there are other energies joining that narrator of this story for you tonight about your origin. This is your origin story, right? So who else is joining that narrator? Who else is in your elder council tonight? They're showing me further down the lineage. So great-grandmothers, great-grandfathers. And so show us a place to find compassion tonight for the mother, our mother. Show us a place to meet her in compassion. And now if you want to take this meditation one layer deeper, right now we're in the womb and we're at 0 to 2 weeks conception, okay? That's where we are now, just to locate this. So if you want to take this deeper, let's go back to our origin as an egg, right? As a cell inside our grandmother's body when she was pregnant with our mothers. Let's go back there, right? So you spent 9 months inside your mother's body, inside your grandmother's body. And think about what year that would have been. For me, it would have been 1942. And notice what's coming up for you. What are you feeling? How was your grandmother feeling at the time that she was pregnant with your mother? I'm getting extreme overwhelm. And sadness. I've never been told that, but I wonder if it was not planned. Feels like a very challenging surprise. And so spirit guides help us in this place to send the medicine now to our grandmothers that was needed at that time. Like how I wish I could help her. Emotional support, physical support, financial support. What was going on for your grandmother? Yeah. Right? And so, grandmother spirits, we honor you here. We meet you here. And across the space and time that separates us, the veil that may separate us, if your grandmother's crossed, mine has, we send just the sweetest medicine to you tonight. Forgiveness, compassion, help, courage, company, support, protection, wisdom, hope, encouragement, appreciation. And now let's go back, let's forward really in time to your own gestation now. And I want you to notice if there's any pickup there, any resonance between what you perceive your grandmother feeling and what you perceive your mom experiencing in the first early weeks. Was there a resonant emotion? Right? If there was overwhelm with grandmother, is there overwhelm with mother? If there was joy with grandmother, is there joy with mother? If there was fear with grandmother, was there fear with mother? And see if you can find the resonance. This is big medicine for you because you're carrying this. Even if you never have a child, it doesn't matter. You are carrying this. You are gestating this. This is imprinted on your DNA. Yeah? Yeah. There's such a mix of emotions I'm picking up from you guys, like everything from resentment to absolute elation and joy and excitement. Like I see the whole spectrum. And so tonight, why don't we just send again across the umbilical cord tonight, across space and time tonight. Let's send a balancing emotion to our mothers and our grandmothers tonight. So if they were feeling fear, let's send comfort and reassurance. If they were feeling resentment, let's send acceptance and excitement. If they were feeling joy, let's send more joy. Let's send more comfort and more resources, and just to strengthen that vibration. And so, spirit guides, speak to us now of how we can heal our journey into this life. What medicine do we need, each one of us? Everybody who's watching now, everybody who will watch later, what do we need now in order to heal these energies for ourselves? And one of the things I'm hearing from the spirit guides is you need to know that no matter how your mother and your grandmother experienced your arrival, the entire universe celebrated when you came into this life. They want me to say that to you. There was universal joy when you said yes, and universal gratitude for you when you took your first breath. Just honor and respect, because what I'm hearing is not every soul incarnates. It's the brave ones who agree to leave this is big for me. It's the brave ones who agree to leave the comfort that's on the other side and do this, knowing that we're going to be lonely and scared sometimes and forget why we're here, and be judged and be challenged and experience hardships and struggle with our health sometimes. Like, we signed up for this, and not every soul is brave enough to do it, because we know when we're leaving them that we're going to forget who we are until we get back. Yeah. You are one of the brave ones who said yes to this. And they're so grateful. Especially at this time. They're very grateful that you said yes to this. But they want us to know that they're there. They want us to enjoy this week, tomorrow, Thursday, this holiday, to listen for their voices, is what I'm hearing. Listen for our voices. We're here to guide you. This is the time of year, they're saying, when you can remember that you're not alone. And you don't feel so far from us, they're saying. Sorry, this is so emotional for me tonight. So I'll just continue because they're talking. It says, they're saying, listen for our voices. We know who you are. You are not your imprinting. You will forget your imprinting. You will not carry your wounds across the veil. Remember that your ancestors did not carry their wounds across the veil. So remember that your pain is temporary. Remember this when it feels too hard. Remember this when it feels too hard. That's right. That's right. We're making it easier for our children and our grandbabies. And with this knowledge tonight, how differently will you come to your nieces and nephews, or to your children or your grandchildren, or to the kids that you teach? How differently will you show up to them from this place, right? How will you comfort them differently? How will you raise them differently? How will you help them understand and process their own grief and their own challenges and their own losses, to remind them of how temporal and temporary, right? Temporary, the word temporary comes from the Latin for time, right? Like it's a time-based thing. And as soon as you cross the veil, you're outside of time. So it's like you won't recall these experiences. I think so. I think a lot of you needed your grandmother and your mother to be in this dialogue with you tonight, to create some forgiveness, to remember that they too were imprinted upon, right? So they too had a big, beautiful soul. And they too had to be in someone's uterus for 9 months, being imprinted with the sounds and the sights and the tensions and the stresses and the environmental energies. And they too were imprinted. And does that help you to have more compassion? Right? Like, maybe can you see more of the clarity of the beauty of their souls from this place? Because that love for you is outside of that conditioning, you know, and really creating forgiveness for those who have crossed. Because a lot of the struggles that you had with them in life were not about who they were as a soul, right? And so let's call upon our entire female line. Are you ready? If you're ready, I'm going to do it. You don't have to do it. I'm ready because I've been doing this work for a while. So I'm going to call upon my entire female line right now. I'm calling upon you, Mom and Grandma and Great-Grandma. I'm calling upon you, Aunt Joyce. I'm calling upon the souls of my grandmother's unborn children. I'm calling upon my grandmother's siblings. I'm calling upon my great-grandmother and her mother before her, and her mother before her, and her mother before her, 7 generations back. And I send each of you sweet, beautiful blessings tonight of compassion as a woman at middle age who maybe understands some of what you went through. I'm sending you gratitude tonight. Thank you for overcoming every obstacle that you did, including your own fear, to bring life forward. I'm sending you love and admiration, whatever gifts I have that came from you. So I hope I've carried on your lineage in a way that makes you proud of me. And I ask tonight for your love and blessings, for your guidance. I ask for your blessings upon my children and their children and their children's children, 7 generations forward. And so in this moment, Spirit Guides, with your help, I ask for healing and clearing and blessings upon my entire feminine line. 7 back, 7 forward. Clearing all karmic energy that's ready to be cleared. Healing broken energies, broken promises, anything that is broken or needs repaired, that's ready to be repaired at this time. Creating healing. Opening up new energy streams, new ways of connecting with my line. Opening up and accessing memory where it's relevant. And together we say, Amen, Aho, and so it is. Sure shredded my little tissue. Let me get a new tissue. So it is. It is done. Never gonna look at your belly button the same way, betcha. De nada, mi amiga. It was really powerful, wasn't it? One more thing the spirit guides are urging me to do, and it feels really accurate, so I'm going to do it with you. This may be the most important work of the night. I thought we were done. We're not done. Put your finger back on your navel for me, or in your belly button for me. Tonight, we also seek to clear health challenges in the feminine line. Tonight, we heal the bones, the muscles. We heal the central nervous system. We heal the digestive system. We heal lineage of disease. 7 back, 7 forward. Tonight, we erase the hard drive of lineage-born illness. We clear the cache. We delete the recordings. We clear all lineage of illness and disease, 7 generations forward and 7 generations back, of all that is ready to be cleared and lifted, in service of the highest good and the most radiant health for ourselves and for all generations forward. Healing the heart. I'm seeing heart healing happening. Healing circulation, healing the brain, healing the ovaries, uterus. Again, muscles, healing degenerative disc disease and arthritis, healing malabsorption and poor digestion, internal bleeding. They're showing me, it almost looks like, I'm not sure if it's rectal bleeding, healing everything in the digestive systems and tracts tonight. Healing pain, healing phantom pain, healing lineage pain, healing mental illness, healing schizophrenia, depression and anxiety, healing suicidal ideation, healing fear, healing trauma, healing sexual abuse, healing lost pregnancies, terminated pregnancies. We clear and delete these energies that are ready to be lifted with gratitude. We are no longer subject to the health programming of our female line. May it be so. So it is. my guides are saying is, let their stories no longer be your stories. You are unbound, they say. You are unbound. I feel this like opening in my chest, like I don't know, like I want to take a really deep breath. Just let the air. What does it mean to be unbound from these lineages? Unbound. This was big tonight, you guys. It was bigger than I thought it was going to be. Like, wow. I'm just going to burn a little Palo Santo and offer some to you. It's what I would do if you were here. Thank you to my spirit guides for this. Tonight was all them. This was not my idea at all. At all. I'm just very grateful. Oof. If I wasn't live with you and like trying to keep my shit together, I would just be sobbing right now. Probably gonna go sob later. There's just so much moving through. So I'm going to release our guides. Thank you for taking us inward tonight on this fantastic voyage, this journey into the past to heal the future and the present. Releasing all of the maternal line from our medicine space tonight. Thank you. We bow to you. We honor you. We are you. We're doing our absolute best to carry your legacy forward in a way that helps all of us become what we need to become and who we need to become and how we need to do it. We give thanks. We release the spirit guides, the archangels, ascended masters, higher selves, teachers in spirit, teachers in body who might be present with you tonight, thinking of you. Releasing the spirits of our children and our grandchildren, great-grandchildren, generations forward. And releasing the guardians of the 7 sacred gateways, the guardians of the lower world, the crystal kingdom, the guardians of the middle world, here and now moment, guardians of the upper world, universal wisdom, angelic guidance. We release you with gratitude. I'm releasing with gratitude the guardians of the north. Thank you for your patience, your guidance, your steadiness, your wisdom, your groundedness. Thank you for the part that you played in this process tonight. We release you with gratitude. Guardians of the West. I'm holding my copper just to keep the energy moving because there's so much going through. Releasing the Guardians of the West with gratitude. Thank you for this incredible purification tonight. I'm so personally grateful for it. The timing was really good. Thank you for opening our hearts to have a deeper layer and level of compassion and awareness. Maybe replacing some of our anger or frustration or our harsher emotions with some softness and some tenderness. I release you with gratitude. Guardians of the South, thank you for shifting us tonight one more time, as you do. Thank you for helping us be brave, coming into this life, saying yes to this contract, carrying out the terms of it with grace. Thank you for helping us transform and grow, shed fear, We release you, guardians of the East. Help us to move forward in our lives now with a new awareness, a new perspective, so that this can be a new beginning. Help us to go back to our mothers and our grandmothers, if we still have them, and say thank you. You can say it to them in spirit. Help us to look ahead to our daughters and our nieces and the little girls and the little boys too, who surround us in our feminine line. Help us to have compassion for their imprinting, their process, their journey. Help us to be good guides and stewards and elders to them as the years pass. We release you with gratitude. And just extinguishing my candle. West it goes. Of course, Mother Medicine tonight, right? Thank you, 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 thank you. Tonight I will say, honestly, for the first time, and this is why this feels so huge to me. I mean, because I do this work with you, right? Like, fuck. Like, this is the first time I can say this to you in candor. Like, I have a new appreciation for my mom tonight that I don't know that I had before. Because I didn't ever have a real bird's eye view into what that was like for her. You know? I didn't. I mean, on some level I did, right? But, like, not this. Like, I'm totally going to her house tonight just to hug her and tell her, without trying to be weird, right? Because sometimes out of journey you can seem really weird. I don't want to look weird, but, like, thank you. I know it wasn't easy for you, and I'm just grateful. And what that can do, right? I mean, if you've known me for a while, you know it's been a rough go, right? So I hope you got something like that tonight too. Either some clarity or a release or a deeper capacity to hold compassionate space, or maybe more compassion for yourself would be just as great, you know? Even if this didn't move the needle for your feminine line, maybe it moved the needle for you, right? I hope that's the case. Oh, she knows, Lauren. That's right. It's exactly right, Colin. She said, even if it doesn't fix things immediately, it will change everything in a time without time. Trust me, they felt this tonight. How many times in your life are you going to spend close to 2 hours healing with them? Maybe you'll do it a couple times, but it's not every Tuesday. You know what I mean? So, like, I just trust that there's a reverberation of this tonight that extends far beyond what we can see and feel. And I'm super grateful to you, A, for doing it, B, for being the kind of people who I feel comfortable sitting here sobbing. I mean, I could have led this journey and I could have just drummed for you and kind of tuned out, but I really wanted to do it with you. But, you know, that requires trust on my part too. So thank you for being who you are, because I felt like it was safe for me to go in there tonight. I didn't think it was going to be this emotional, but it was. And right? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Just gratitude tonight. And you know what? I bet every cell in your body is saying thank you to you. Maybe you won't fight your body so hard. Maybe you won't be as resentful. Maybe you won't, you know, I mean, remember my question was about how do I find joy given that I come from sad people and sometimes I feel guilty being happy. And what I got tonight was they're happy people too, absent the imprinting. And so if I can see them in that place, I free them to experience the joy that I now feel. right? Aho, everybody. Well, thank you to the grandmothers, to the mothers, to the great-grandmothers, to the grandchildren, to the daughters. Thank you all, to all of the line members who stepped forward tonight to do this work with us. Beautiful. Okay, so tomorrow night is Samhain, 6 p.m. We're going to start in the room, I think, around 5:30 with a candle lighting ceremony. So please plan to join us online. If you can't be here in person, we'd love to have you there. It's always really special when my closest can be there, and you guys are my closest, so we'd love to have you there. If you do want the anointing blend, I think Team SG put it up while we were in class. I didn't see, but I think they probably did, so that's there if you want it. You don't need it, but it's just if you want it. I think it's interesting that they had me create that for this, and now I see why. It's like each one of those oils. It's interesting to make something and figure out what it is later, rather than knowing in advance and going in. I was like, I don't know what this is becoming, and then now I understand. Well, cheers to that. So I will look forward to seeing you guys either live or online tomorrow with so much love. So have a beautiful rest of your night. Go easy with yourself tonight. Make yourself some tea, drink some water, have a bath or a shower. Take it easy. If you want to get really grounded now, have a big meal. If you just want to get mildly grounded, just have a little meal. Food will always bring you back from journey and kind of, but sometimes you don't want to come back right away. So watch how much you eat right now, but definitely stay hydrated. 555, 556 now. All right, you guys, I love you. Part of me doesn't want to go, but I need to because I got to help Zoe with something. So otherwise I would just kind of stay here and go, hey, what do you want to talk about now? What else is on your mind? My dream one day is to hold journeys in person so that afterwards we can all have some soup together and integrate and share stories live, and in person. That's my dream one day, my retirement plan. I love you guys too. Thanks for being there, and thanks for seeing me too. We're on this ride together, and what a ride it is. See you soon.